In a recent video on this channel, somebody left a comment that said they believe that most of what I normally say here on this channel comes to pass. And they gave the example of the fallout between President Ruto and his deputy, Gachagua, which we discussed right here on this channel when Gachagua was telling us about shareholders in the government and they're all buddy-buddy, very close to Ruto. Now, I'm human, and of course, I feel good when people say nice things about me. However, let us just face the very brutal truth. Anybody who understands the spiritual would have very, very easily made that correct prediction. Nobody can change spiritual laws. And you do not rebel against your boss in the office and then expect your children at home and your dear wife to be obedient. It doesn't work like that. You don't rebel against your own father when you're young, and then one day when you get your family, you expect all your children to fall in line. It can never happen. It is a spiritual law, and rebellion especially is deadly. When William Ruto was deputy president, he rebelled against his boss. Uhuru Kenyatta was president then. It did not matter that Ruto played a gigantic role in making Uhuru president. That didn't matter. In the spiritual, there was no way he was going to expect to escape from the boomerang effect of the rebellion he exercised against his boss. There was no way. And I have breaking news for you. Mambo bado. Tena bado sana. And please don't throw any stones at me. I didn't make the rules. Okay? I'm just telling you what they are. In my supercharged, fascinating show today, we shall attempt to look like a giraffe ahead, far ahead on the road in a country called Kenya, to discover and to discuss what is coming. Hey. And I trust that it is going to be very, very, very fascinating and interesting for you. Because right now, we are drowning in news and political developments all over the place. So much is happening. And people are getting what I can call news fatigue. They're getting tired. Okay? And are therefore very anxious to know or to discuss where all this is going to end. Where is Kenya going to end up? Where? What is going to happen by next year? And allow me to back up a little, just a little, to just before the 2022 general elections. We said on this channel that the promised land can clearly be seen on the other side. I said I could see it. The new Kenya, the new unrecognizable Kenya, I was able to see. However, I said, there was this bridge we had to cross to get there. And I said, that bridge, crossing that bridge, itakuwa shida kubwa sana. I'm paraphrasing. I believe that is what I said. Now, what I didn't know at the time, and what I never ever imagined at the time, was that the Ancient of Days was going to include the global agenda, was going to include what were global agenda in this, can I call it, discipline bridge. I never imagined that. Indeed, If you had come at the time and suggested that to me, I would have laughed you off. But that is precisely what has unfolded. Eh? What? Ukiona mzazi amekasirika, watoto wamefanya makosa, alafu amefungia watoto wake ndani ya nyumba, alafu pia ndani ya hiyo nyumba kuna watoto wa jirani. Now this used to happen before. Yeah, it can't happen these days. Once upon a time, all the children belonged to all of us. But I'm not talking about children. This is my analogy of what is coming. Ukiona mzazi ambaye amekasirika amefungia watoto wote kwa nyumba na wajirani pia, bas unajua atanyorosha wote. Kiboko itatembea kwa matako ya kila mtoto hapo. Hakuna mtoto atahepa. Kila mtoto atapata dawa yake. Okay? Na unajua kuna watoto wengine wako na hasira mbaya. Wakichapwa, wakisikia uchungu, watavunja na haribu vitu ndani ya hiyo nyumba. Now, we have seen where this rebellion has brought us to. And by then in the spiritual realm, it becomes very easy when you know the sisters and the brothers of the thing you're talking about. Okay? And in this case, rebellion. Rebellion is a twin of witchcraft. Rebellion is very closely related to death. Rebellion is very closely related to chaos and disorder, etc., etc. And therefore, there you have it. That is what is coming. If you imagine for a minute that the mandamanos we saw towards the end of June were the mother of all mandamanos, then I suggest you stop. Okay? And I want to tell you that was nothing. Because what is coming, my friends, what is coming is going to be gigantic in comparison. It's going to make those June Gen Z protests look like kids' play. Overturn, 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 until you can finish that for yourself. But on second thoughts, in case you've forgotten, let me finish it for you. Until he comes, he whose right it is. And surprise, 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 our political situation today is nothing new. It has happened before. Oh yes. My very good wise friend, my fellow Mzee Kinoti, this morning reminded me of that time in our history. 2005, 2 very short years earlier, the Rainbow Coalition had swept Mwai Kibaki into the presidency. But immediately there was a problem over a memorandum of understanding with Raila Odinga's LDP. Yeah, they were not given the cabinet slots promised. And Mwai Kibaki's government took the beautiful constitutional draft of Professor Yashpal Gai and they butchered it. Okay? And they took it to a referendum where they lost badly. The bananas lost very badly to the oranges, who were saying no to the constitution, who were saying no to the proposed Kibaki constitution. Yeah, the bananas were saying yes. And after that, there was so much tension in the country. There was so much instability in the country that State House had to come out with a very stern statement reminding Kenyans that Mwai Kibaki was still president. You see, after the oranges had defeated the proposed constitution, had defeated the government motion yeah, the government project of a constitution, many Kenyans felt that that was also a vote of no confidence on Mwai Kibaki's government. Most Kenyans felt that Mwai Kibaki's government needed to go home. Yeah, they had been defeated in that referendum. They just needed to go home immediately. And that feeling was very strong in the country. It was only cooled down by the Oranges, the opposition at that time, and especially by Raila Odinga and his allies, yeah, for a very practical reason. There is no way you can go into a general election without preparing. And they needed time to prepare. Because after all, the general elections were just 2 short years away. Because they were scheduled for 2007. And this was around 2005. Fast forward to the present. There is no referendum, of course. But we have the impeachment motion against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, which the entire Mount Kenya region has taken very personally. And there are very many ways that the government can lose here. For example, they can win in parliament and successfully impeach Gachagua, but then they lose out there in the very important court of public opinion. That is a high possibility. They could also lose in parliament. Too many things could go wrong, yeah, and you don't want that as a government. You see, it should be crystal clear by now that what President Ruto is really lacking are political thinkers. And if they're there, he is not listening to them. Because in this game of politics, it is very easy to set a trap for yourself. Very easy. You see, this public participation on the impeachment of Gachagua is deadly. I believe we have all seen how Kenyans are talking, what they are saying. Hey, it is a very deadly thing. Because, just like in 2005, it could turn out to be a protest vote against the entire regime. Okay? Not just Gachagua. There is even another possibility, much worse, that Gachagua could easily be seen as the victim and then shortly thereafter lifted up as the hero as the whole government protests against President Ruto. That is also another very high possibility. All of them not good for Ruto. Not good at all. I am very sure many of us have been in the following situation. You do a sum, Maesabu, and you do it over and over again, and you get the same answer, which you believe is the wrong answer. And so you do it yet again, and you get the same answer, which you believe is wrong, but actually is correct, based on the mathematical problem you constructed in the first place. Yeah, mathematics people will understand exactly what I'm saying. And this is what I mean. We all know that state machinery is very powerful. We all know that when you're in government, it is almost impossible for you to be removed as a government. Or so we think. However, no matter how many times we do this mathematics of how Ruto will remain in power until 2027, we keep on getting the wrong answer. And we're doing this sum over and over and over again. It is still giving us the same answer. Ruto is going. Ruto and his administration are going. But we don't believe that. And therefore we go back and we do the sum again and again from a different angle. We change a few things. We do this and we do that. Same answer. That is the situation in Kenya today, described with great accuracy, in my humble opinion. But in all this, we must never forget to address the most important issue here, and that is the survival, your survival, the survival of Kenyans, especially those who are still within the borders of the country called Kenya. Okay? Now, we know maandamanos are coming back with a vengeance. Yeah? Maandamanos that have never ever before been seen in the country called Kenya. And we have no idea how long they will last. And so the question is, how will you survive? Because in this kind of situation, things are not normal. They are abnormal. Supply chains are disrupted. A lot of things don't work. How are you going to survive? You need to be as self-sufficient as possible. That is terribly important. You need to look at your own food supplies. Or even better, grow your own food. I know people don't like hearing that, but I am afraid it is the truth. Have your own steamer. The way I see it, solar energy is rapidly becoming a necessity, not a backup, a necessity. Very necessary to have. And if you must live bang in the middle of a big city, please have an exit strategy, a way of getting out of the city that you are sure is going to work amid serious chaos. Okay? That is very important. Please, my friends, it is terribly important going forward. Now, please don't get me wrong. Yeah? I am not a prophet of doom. Indeed, I would be happy if I was proved very wrong. That would be the best news for me. I'm serious. However, this mathematics problem we have done a million times, which has given us the same wrong answer. Maybe it is time for us to step back and realize, internalize, that wrong answer may actually be the correct one. Okay? Now, in my very latest special report, I reveal some of these things which are coming, not good things. Some of these things that it was not possible to mention and discuss here, they are all in my highly sensitive special report, which is available for only Kenya shillings 19.99. You can see details on your screens right now, repeated in the description area below this video on YouTube, and also in the comments area. Very terrible information, but also very vital information to have for these times, these extraordinary times we live in. Please go for it right away. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.